So many men I speak to, they want to learn Arabic so they can understand the Quran, so they can understand the works of the scholars in the hadith, but they don't achieve it. They blame it on stuff like the wrong curriculum, the wrong teacher, stuff like that. But the reality is you're procrastinating, you're not taking enough action. And the second reason is that you're stopping short. You're not continuing for long enough to get the results that you're looking for. I've coached hundreds of Muslim men on their business and to help them achieve their biggest goals, like learning Arabic. And by the end of this video, you're going to understand what's really holding you back and how you can finally continue with your Arabic in the correct way so that you learn it and you understand the words of Allah. So alhamdulillah, my Arabic is pretty good. I'm from an Arab background, but I didn't always know Arabic. And a language like French that I do speak fluently, I didn't know anything. I didn't grow up with it. I simply learned it in school. So I have experience with learning languages, and I have experience, more importantly, in beating procrastination and taking action to achieve your biggest life goals. And when it comes to a language like Arabic, you can be fluent in 1 year. That is definitely something realistic, and 1 year to invest to then understand this language, not just any language, this language for the rest of your life is fully worth it, and it's a great investment. And the great news is that it's only going to be really difficult for the first 3 to 6 months. After that, it will become a normal part of your life where you're really feeling momentum, you're feeling progress, and you just need to keep going with it. It's less heavy lifting. So you can become fluent and understand the Quran in about a year, but you need 3 ingredients. Number 1, you need the right strategy. You need the right method of learning Arabic. And this is where we begin. We start to plan what's the most effective, efficient way of achieving a goal. That's where you have to start your thinking. Next is commitment. What I mean by this is your willingness to forego other goals, other really good goals, like maybe starting a business, maybe getting in better shape, maybe whatever else it is. You have to forego other goals and say, I'm gonna focus on this goal. I'm committed and dedicated to this goal, not for the rest of my life, but for the next 6 to 12 months. This is gonna be my main focus. And other goals are gonna take a bit of a back seat. I don't have to drop all goals and all progress in my life other than Arabic, but I need to be really dedicated and committed to it. And lastly, you just need consistency. You need to keep going with it. You need to not drop it off. You need to fight back the voices in your head that are gonna tell you to doubt. They're gonna tell you not making progress. They're gonna tell you you're not using the perfect teacher, the perfect method, the perfect strategy. And you have to push through it and just not stop. So now how do we actually get these 3 things, right? There are actually methods to getting those 3 ingredients: the right strategy, commitment, and consistency. And number 1 is having a good why. Understanding your driving force behind you wanting to learn Arabic. Is it something that you just heard on Instagram and everyone's talking about it on Instagram, and you see some cool videos and you see some mashayikh talking Arabic and you wish you understood them? Is it that in Ramadan, Ramadan wasn't too long ago and you couldn't understand anything in Taraweeh and you just like really wanted to learn it and understand it? Or is your motivation more from within? How do you know that your motivation is from within? Well, firstly, you have a really clear reason why you want to learn Arabic. Right? You want to understand this, or you want to do this, da'wah work. Like, it fits into your vision for your life and your identity as a person. That's a really good sign. The second good sign is that you've been wanting to do this for months or years. It's not something that just in the last 2 weeks you've felt like doing, or you've been on a hype, or your friends started learning Arabic, so now you want to learn Arabic. No, it's something that's been sticking with you for a while. And lastly, you have to understand the benefits of achieving this goal. This goal is not going to be easy. It's going to be something that needs hard work and sacrifice, and therefore you have to understand the benefits. And those benefits, they can't be things that you forget about, you're not too clear on. No, you have to really know why you want to learn it. I'll give you a real example of this. I, alhamdulillah, have a lot of good friends that studied Islamic sciences, and they went deeper than me. I studied a little bit alongside them, but I didn't go as deep as them. I spent my time learning more marketing and business skills, you could say. That was just where I ended up going. And now, years later, when I meet up with them, they know a lot more than me in that domain, and I know a lot more in this domain, which is normal. But do I regret it? I felt a lot of pressure at that time to go deeper into the Islamic sciences. And of course, you never regret learning about the religion of Allah. But what I noticed at that time, when I felt the pressure to follow down that path as well, is that it wasn't intrinsically coming from me. There was a level of Islamic knowledge that I loved gaining, and it really helped me, and it helps me until today. But going deeper and deeper to a scholar kind of level, I wasn't fully bought into that. And therefore, if I had followed my friends and gone down that path, I probably would have quit, because when it becomes difficult, I need my own internal motivation to keep me going. My friends are not going to wake me up and take me to the classes. I need to do it myself. So if you want to go down a path like that and you're not fully feeling it, well, then maybe you can create that motivation for yourself by studying the benefits of it, by creating a vision in your life that includes that. But if you lack those things, you're likely to quit. So with learning Arabic, you need the same things. You need to have a deep down reason why you want to learn it. You need to see how it's going to benefit you for decades. And then you'll be much more likely to stick to it, not in the easy times, but in the difficult times, in the times where you have to make sacrifices, which will come for any serious goal. Okay, now step 2 is creating the right environment for you to actually succeed in the goal. And the first ingredient of this is dedicating a certain amount of time to it. You can't give yourself a month or two to make progress in a big goal and say to yourself, yeah, if I'm making progress in a month or two, then I'll continue. No, you need to dedicate more time to it early on and really commit to that time. So like I said, 6 months is the absolute minimum, but really you should just be committed to something to the point of, I'll do it until I succeed in it, if it's really valuable to you. So part of having the right environment, at least in your head, is committing to it for 6 months to a year minimum. And once you commit that and you're dedicated to it, then it makes everything easier actually, because you're not tempted by other goals or other things you might want to be working on. And the other part of the environment that you need is no distractions. I don't mean like throw your phone away. What I mean is you shouldn't have anything else which could be a priority in your life, at least for the first 3 months minimum. So what I mean is, don't say I'm going to learn Arabic and at the same time I'm going to memorize the Quran. Or I'm going to learn Arabic and at the same time I'm going to get in great shape and really go to the gym and really focus on my health at that time. No, it can't work like that. You can do that later in the year. Yes, you don't have to drop all other goals for the year, but at least for the first 3 months, you need to say, outside of my essential day-to-day responsibilities with my family, with my work, whatever, this is gonna be my priority. And anything outside of that, I might be able to do it still, but it's gonna take a back step. I'll only do it after I finish my Arabic for that day or that week. And the reason for this is people underestimate the necessity of focus. Like you have to focus on something properly to expect to get really big results out of it. And the beauty of that is that when you focus and you really give it your all, you start to see progress earlier. You start to feel momentum earlier. And how many people have given up on a goal because they didn't feel that momentum? They didn't feel that they were actually going to achieve the goal. And those voices in their head telling them that, oh, it's not going to work, or you're just not suited to this, those voices won and they gave up. But if you go all in on something, you're much more likely to feel that early progress, that early momentum, and that will keep you going. That will be your fuel. Okay, now step 3 is that you need to overcome barriers and specifically procrastination. You need to make sure this doesn't seep into your life and ruin your big goals again, because this is the disease of 2025, but not just 2025, the decades before it as well. It's really become a big problem. Any big goal that you want to achieve in life, if you think about it, it was ruined because of your procrastination, your lack of aggressive action taking. And procrastination comes in 3 forms. Number 1 is mindset problems, right? Those voices that I've mentioned that talk to you and tell you to doubt whether you can do it, or doubt what will the outcome be. Is it even worth it? Is it even a good idea? Or but when you succeed, this bad thing will come with it. Or maybe you'll never succeed. This is the number 1 thing you need to overcome. And a great way of overcoming this is with a coach, somebody to speak to, someone that can reframe those thoughts and help you to have powerful responses to those thoughts. Because once you respond to those thoughts enough, then they start to go away and they start to get much weaker. And alhamdulillah, it's something that I did with my goals in the past, because I have a lot of doubts. I would say I'm a negative thinker, like by default, but through my own work, alhamdulillah, I didn't have a coach back then. I was able to fight back at them. And then eventually later, I did get a coach and that helped me even more. So you need to overcome the mindset barriers. That's the first part, procrastination. The second part is lacking specificity. So this comes down to not knowing exactly what you're doing, not knowing what your plan is for your goal, not knowing why you're doing your goal, and not having a week by week plan for the next 90 days. I always recommend people have 90-day plans. They plan the whole 90 days out at the beginning, and then it just comes down to going week by week and implementing the actions there. You need to know exactly what you're doing, why you're doing it, what it's for, and what's the outcome. What's the actual goal that you're going to achieve by the end of the 90 days. For example, you're not going to become fluent in Arabic in 90 days, but could you learn 1,000 words of vocabulary? Yes, which is a very significant milestone in learning any language. So these are the ways that we break it down and we make it specific, because when things are not specific, you procrastinate. You feel like it's not clear what to do next, or you feel overwhelmed. You feel like the goal is learn Arabic, and because not specific, you feel like it's a huge task. But what if it was not even learn 1,000 words, but just this week, learn 30 words, learn 20 words, right? And the third reason for procrastinating is a lack of measurement. What do I mean by that? I mean, you're not tracking your progress. You don't know how far you are towards your goal, which makes you lose motivation and be more likely to procrastinate. But also you don't know what you should be doing this week, and you don't have anyone holding you to account. Account, that word account has the word count in it, measuring, right? So you need somebody that is going to hold you accountable, right? Some people, they're good enough that they can hold themselves to account. But a lot of us, myself included, that's not good enough. As soon as you get a third party, especially someone who's not too close to you, someone who you have a bit of a formal relationship with, as soon as they get involved and they know what your goal is and they're holding you account for your weekly goals, then things change very, very quickly. And all of a sudden you want to kind of be able to go to that person every week and say, yes, I did what I said I was going to do. So that's the fix for this lack of measurement problem that causes procrastination. And just to circle back to the mindset part, because it's very important that you have two mindset shifts. The mindset element, although people don't like it because it feels like intangible, you can't touch it, you can't really understand it. But what goes on in your head is the biggest reason why you don't achieve your goals. You have to learn to reframe things. But anyway, there are two key mindset shifts that you need to make just to even get started. Number one, a lot of people tell themselves, I cannot do it. And I agree with you, you cannot do it. You know, just the other day, I was on a coaching call with a client and they were basically trying to sell a product. And they were like, you know, I've not done this before. And someone gave them the advice that, you know, they should believe in themselves and they are good and they are worthy of charging money for this. And I told them, actually, no. Like, you don't deserve it. You're not worthy of it. But you've got a system that you're selling that is worthy of it. It's not you by yourself that's worthy of it. It's the system that you're selling and helping implement that is worth it. Okay? So yes, you not having the ability, it's true. You don't have the ability. None of us have the ability on our own. It is Allah who has the ability over everything. He's the one that allows us to achieve anything. Even for me to twitch my fingers, it is Allah giving me that ability. So when you think to yourself, oh, I can't do it, it's true. But then you need to ask yourself, can Allah do it? And the answer is yes. And then that ends there. And the second mindset shift that you need to take is to stop thinking, am I ready? Am I good enough? Am I the type of person? Because you don't ever feel ready. You are not the type of person until you become the type of person by taking small actions. That's why the biggest problem in the world really is procrastination, because procrastination stops you taking any action. And when you don't take action, you keep staying in that mindset of I'm not ready, I don't feel I can do it, etc. Okay, next, because we were talking about being specific, and that's a big reason people procrastinate, the next step is to create a 90-day plan for our Arabic learning. Now, Arabic learning is not going to last 90 days. It might last 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, and beyond that. But we plan things 90 days at a time. It's just the perfect time frame, not too long so that we feel like the deadline is far away, and not too short where we can't accomplish too much in it. It's the perfect period of time for any significant goal. So the first part of this 90-day plan is creating a clear, specific, measurable goal. When it comes to Arabic, it could be something like memorizing 1,000 words of vocabulary. It could be something like be able to hold a 5-minute conversation in Arabic. Be able to read and understand a certain book in Arabic. These are very clear, measurable things. You know whether you can do them or not, very clearly, black and white. Do you know the 1,000 words or not? Can you read the book and understand it all or not? Right, so it's very clear. So set a goal like that. Next, once your goal is very clear, you're going to want to set your weekly plans, right? So for the next 12 weeks, with 90 days, 12 weeks, you're going to want to plan out what you're going to do each week. The strategy we talked about at the beginning, like the way of accomplishing the goal, is important to do in the first 1-2 weeks. Find out the best, most efficient way. For example, a lot of people have been learning languages, Arabic as well, by focusing on grammar, learning a lot of grammar rules. But what people have found is that the most efficient way of learning a language is simply learning loads of vocabulary at the beginning. And part of the reason is psychological, that when you know a lot of vocabulary, you can start to piece sentences together. You start to understand stuff when you read it. You start to use words and you feel a lot of words that you understand are put together. The grammar can be inferred as well. So this is an example of a very efficient method of achieving a goal. And it's not just language learning. Everything pretty much has a more efficient way. And so in the first week or two of your 90 days, you're going to want to spend that researching what is the best way of attacking this goal, and then go down that route after you're convinced of the most efficient way. After the first 1-2 weeks, you might just have 1 week where you're selecting, right? So you'll be selecting what curriculum to go down, what method to go down. Do you need a teacher? Which teacher? All of this stuff is what you're going to decide or select, right? So the first phase is research. Second phase is decisions. And then the third phase is just actions. So usually after week 3 or 4, the rest of the weeks would just be taking action. And usually they're the same actions because we reverse engineer. If I'm going to learn 1,000 words of vocabulary by the end of these 90 days, then every week approximately, if I take 2 weeks off for researching and selection and stuff, I've got 10 weeks left. So I need to learn 100 vocabulary words every week. Very clear, right? And then you just have to go about doing that. You might have different ways you do it. So every week it could say memorize 100 words. It could say that, or you might memorize things in different ways. So you do your memorization via reading, then memorization via listening, then memorization via, I don't know, talking into a recording device and just saying, this word means this word means whatever it is. You might have different ways of doing it. Or it could be as simple as just memorize 100 words. But the point is that ahead of time, you're planning out the actions that if you achieve those actions every week, you will achieve the ultimate 90-day goal. And then when you have these weeks planned out, of course, the best thing to do now is to have an accountability partner hold you account to that every single week. So you feel the social pressure, so you feel like you really want to do it, and you have that fire underneath you, making sure you do it every single week when life comes up and life gets in the way. So that's your 90-day plan completed. And what I like to do as well in the middle, like the 6th week, is to have a progress review and really see, where am I? Am I making enough progress? Am I behind a little bit? Do I need to tweak my plan? So that's always good to do. In the front row, you can understand the information about that in the description, in the video there. In the front row, we have monthly reviews. So you never go too far off track. We're always course correcting. Okay, because every month we're doing that check-in. But you know, if you didn't have the front row, you could just have a 6-week check-in and make sure you are where you should be. We've talked about focus, handling distractions, and learning to say no. It's really, really important because when you have your plan, when you're decided on your why and you're motivated and all of that, now what's going to happen is people are going to invite you to do things. They're going to say, I'm starting MMA, do you want to join? I'm going to start memorizing the Quran, do you want to join? I'm going to attend this class every week, do you want to join? And some of those opportunities, you're going to be easily able to do them alongside your Arabic because they don't take away from your goals and what you need to achieve every week. But some of them will, and they will be good things. They will be good opportunities. But that's what happens when you're on the right track in life. You get a lot of opportunities, you get a lot of good things coming your way. So you're going to need to learn to say no to things, right? And this is something that I learned bit by bit over time as I got a bit more successful in business and I had a bit more extra free time and stuff, is I got a lot of things that I could do, but that meant I had to learn how to say no to good things, right? Because it's not about bad things versus good things. It's about good things versus even better things. And you always have to pick the better thing and the thing that you're focused on at this time. So yes, people are going to come at you with ideas, opportunities, and you have to learn to say no. This phase of life, this season of my life is my Arabic season. And that's how you know you're really focused on a goal, by the way, is when people know about you that you're focused on that thing. Because you start saying, no, I can't come out tonight, or no, I'm not going to start that new goal with you because I'm focused on this right now. Your wife will know that you're focused on this right now. Your parents will know because you'll be talking about it, you'll be spending time on it, you'll be sacrificing for that goal. Next is measurement and accountability. We talked about this as one of the barriers that hold you back from learning Arabic because it makes you procrastinate when you don't have it. Well, this is where you need to implement it. So you've got your 90-day plan, which is great. But like I said, it's great to have a coach, someone that you can speak to, someone that you can ask for help or just for their insights when you feel a mindset issue, when you feel like giving up, when you feel self-doubt. You can speak to them about it. But also accountability, having someone hold you accountable. I've already mentioned this. Get one to hold you account every single week and measure your progress. So in your 90-day plan, every week you should put how many words, for example, you've learned so far. right? And you're going to see that number going up every week. You could even put it as a graph so it's very clear that you're making progress, right? Just how when people lose weight, they can see the graph of it going down and that motivates you. You might want to see a graph going up showing that you are on your way to success. Now, the power of commitment. And this is simply understanding that at the beginning of your goal, the first 3 months are the hardest. It's like when a plane takes off. If it's flying for 7 hours, it will use 1/3 of its fuel just to take off. And that's the same with you. When you're starting on a new journey, a new goal, and you're really focused on it, it's going to take a lot of effort in the first 3 months. The third 3 months is going to be much easier. But just know that if you can get past those first 3 months and actually make progress, you're not going to feel as much resistance in the second 3 months. And like we said, for learning Arabic, it would require a commitment of at least 6 months of it being your focus. And then after that, you might be able to start another goal in parallel, just depending on where you see yourself after 6 months. Is it something you find easy and you find it easy to stay committed to it and you've just got a kind of rhythm with it? Or is it something you're still struggling to be consistent with a little bit after 6 months, in which case you might not want to add any new goals. You might want to go another, like a whole 9 months without any other goals. But is it worth it? Again, it goes back to your motivations. Why do you want to do it? Is it worth investing 9 months or 12 months in learning this language, the language of the Quran? You know, probably, but it's up to you if you're convinced of that or not. Now, I want you to imagine, you could even close your eyes for this, and imagine that you've been working on this goal. You did everything in this video. You created a plan. You understood your motivations. You got clear on your motivations. You made a good intention with Allah. You made dua to Allah. You said no to distractions. You sacrificed other goals. And you said, this is my season of Arabic. And then every week you were holding yourself accountable. You had someone to hold you accountable. You had a coach. You overcame so many mindset barriers and doubts. You did it, right? And you kept going beyond the first few weeks, the first 3 months, the first 6 months. And now 12 months has passed and it's Ramadan. Imagine it's Ramadan. You're standing in Salah and the Imam finishes Fatiha and he goes on to Surah Al-Baqarah, the first surah after Fatiha in the Quran. And it is the first night of Ramadan. And he reads Alif Lam Mim and you understand it. You understand it. Now, you know, still with your eyes closed, is that worth it? You spent 9 months, 12 months trying to achieve this goal. You said no to so many things, but now finally you understand it. Now finally you can pick up a book of hadith and understand what the Prophet ﷺ was telling us, the advice he was giving us. You can pick up the books of scholars that have not been translated into English and you can understand it. You can enter the deep ocean of Arabic lectures on YouTube and you understand it. Do you understand 100% of it? No, but you understand 80%, 70%, 90% to the point where you can benefit from it. And wasn't that the goal in the first place? And fast forward to when you pass away and when you've got all this edges for all the work you put in, was it worth it? You're going to find it was fully worth it. You're going to find that if that goal was really something that you checked your intention, you checked why you wanted it and what benefits you wanted out of it, and you kept going, that it was worth it. And all it required was fighting back against procrastination, against those 3 barriers that we talked about, and implementing this system that I laid out for you in so much detail. And right now I invite you to really implement this. Go back, watch the video, take the transcript, put it in ChatGPT or something to get the summary, and then follow my instructions to create a real plan. And if you want our help with that, of course, we will do a lot of the work for you, and you can see the details of that in the description below. But ultimately, take action, fight your doubts, fight procrastination, and then beyond this year of learning Arabic, what other goals could be there waiting for you in year 2, year 3, year 4 of using this system? So let's go, bro. Let's implement it. Let's take action. Let's change the ummah one goal at a time. If every man out there with big goals and ambitions like you took action and fought procrastination, where would the ummah be? Definitely in a different place. May Allah give you success, and I'll see you in the next video.